Wherever you are from, if you come to Japan, you want to experience what makes traditional Japan different. And there is no better place if you're a tourist than the city of Kyoto. That is why in this video, I want to share a few locations that I think if you come over here, you cannot miss. Before there was Tokyo as the capital of Japan, there was Kyoto. More than 1,000 years ago, Kyoto was established as the capital of Japan, and then Tokyo became the capital in 1868. Still, Kyoto remains as the cultural center of the country, having innumerable shrines, temples, palaces, and gardens. That is why it remains a major tourist destination in the country for local tourists and international ones as well, leaving me to create a list of places you will want to see in order to make your experience in Kyoto all the more worthwhile. The first place I want to mention in this list is the Kyoto Imperial Palace. Located just a straight subway ride and a short walk away from the Kyoto train station, the palace is within the 27 acres of the Kyoto Imperial Park. It is a great place to start learning about the history of the country and its construction, from the guest rooms and the meaning behind the artwork in their walls to gardens and intricate gate designs that adorn the place. This is one of those places in Japan where you stand exactly where history took place, where hundreds of years ago the older emperors of Japan met with their people and the events that shaped the future of the country happened. In modern days, it is a very relaxing location where you can walk around, enjoy the gardens in the park, go for a coffee at a cafe nearby, or have yourself a delicious Japanese meal at one of their restaurants within the park. It is free to enter and an easy way to spend a few hours of your day. And if you like gold, you are going to love the next place on the list. That is Kinkakuji, the Golden Pavilion. Definitely one of the most impressive buildings in Japan. It is a 3-floor pagoda where 2 of those floors are golden. The building is a Zen Buddhism temple said to be, or to have been, housing the treasures of the Buddha. Although the whole building is known as the Golden Pavilion, in actuality only the golden part is. The real name of the whole temple is Rokonji, named after the shogun Yoshimitsu in the 1300s, not the Tekken character. The current building was rebuilt in 1955 and the previous one had been burnt down 5 years earlier. This place is an iconic building of Japan, considered by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site since 1994. It is easily reachable by train or bus, and entrance is usually around 800 yen or about $5.50. Definitely a sight to see, especially if you are a lover of everything golden. And if gold is not your color but red is, then the next place might be for you, Fushimi Inari Taisha. The shrines at Mount Fushimi are probably one of the most popular and picturesque locations among the influencers that like to take beautiful pictures. The red torii gates in Fushimi Inari Taisha in Kyoto impresses anyone who visits them as they guide the visitors through the path to the top of the mountain. It is definitely one of the places that you cannot miss if you visit Kyoto, since it is completely different from any other in the world. This Shinto shrine dates back to over 1,000 years and it is dedicated to the Shinto god Inari, the god of rice. That's the reason also why the place has so many fox statues, since those who follow the Shinto religion consider foxes to be the messengers of Inari, although in real life you are more likely to encounter cats in the premises instead of foxes. It is easily reachable by train since you only have to make your way to Inari Station, where as soon as you walk out, you are already at the starting point of the compound. Just be aware that it is a considerably long hike of anywhere close to an hour or more if you want to make it to the top. You will be going step by step, but along your way, you will see different shrines following the same theme of the compound and maps marking your location, but somehow also giving you a false sense that you are closer to the top than you think you are. So make sure you are well hydrated. Bring in a backpack with you where you can store water bottles and empty bottles, since like many other places in Japan, there are no garbage cans. Whatever trash you have to take it with you. You can also buy water bottles at stops throughout the mount, as well as ice cream whenever you take a resting break. Maybe bring a small umbrella in that backpack as well in case it rains. Throughout the way, you will also find, aside from the shrines, different locations where local believers will come to say their prayers, as well as an omikuji papers location where you buy a paper that will tell you your fortune. And if it is a bad fortune, you can tie it here in order to be rid of it. Other than that, what you might want to know about this place is that the torii gates have the name of the person who sponsored it, some even in English, and that you really are in a mountain surrounded by nature, so don't be surprised if Itachi is watching. If you like Japan and you are a little bit cultured in it, chances are you have seen the next place, Njo Castle. Njo Castle is over 400 years old. The castle was built in 1603 for a very important figure in Japanese history, the shogun or warlord Tokugawa Ieyasu. When you go inside, you can get a guided tour in English that will explain the rich history of this place and take you through places not open to the public. It was used as a residence for the shogun, therefore not only is it a beautiful castle, but at the time it was a very functional one, built in a way that took the protection and the safety of the residents in mind. This, from the layout of the buildings to the way in which elements such as the roofs and floors were constructed. And for that, it is also one of the best places that display the architecture of the time. Throughout the year, they hold different events. For example, in April, they host the Sakura Festival. In the premises of the castle, they have over 400 cherry blossom trees that bloom, filling the atmosphere of the place with a soft, gentle pink. They sometimes also have an open market in the premises where you can buy local souvenirs and delicious cherry blossom wine that you can bring back and enjoy. After all, part of enjoying a culture is not just the things that you get to see, but delicious food that you can taste. So if you want to get a taste for what traditional Japan was really like, you cannot miss the area of Gion Geisha district. This whole area is very traditional. It is good to visit and look around. Just be aware that a lot of the streets are private streets, and due to tourists harassing geishas walking by, photography has been prohibited. If you see a geisha in this area, be understanding that although you are a tourist, they are not. They are working individuals with a schedule and things to do, so be respectful and do not disturb them. There are other places where you can see people wearing traditional clothes that would probably be more inclined to take a picture with you, such as the next one. Although oftentimes packed with tourists, and for a good reason, we have Kiyomizudera on the list as well. This temple of Kiyomizudera, dedicated to the deity Kannon, was created more than 1,200 years ago. This temple is definitely one of my favorite places in Kyoto, not just because of the temple itself, but the surrounding area. Not far from Gion, this is another place where the shops along Matsubara Street on your way to the temple have a lot of that traditional look to them. A tight street packed with tourists, filled with people dressed in traditional attire. Shops and places where to grab a snack or refreshing mochi ice cream. This is definitely one of those places in Kyoto you cannot miss. Many of the local people feel the same way and year-round come to the place in order to practice their religious beliefs and say their prayers. An entrance ticket is only about 400 yen or $3. There are only a few steps in the premises, so it will not be a gruesome walk. And as you continue, you will also find the Koyasu Pagoda, set there for a goddess of fertility, and you will also find, as you make your way around the premises, the Otowa waterfall where you can wash your hand in the traditional manner as a symbol of cleaning oneself. They have many activities at or near the temple throughout the year, so if you are interested to find out what will be going on around the dates of your trip, visit the website at www.kiyomizudera.or.jp and find out. Sanjo Sangildo Temple is also one of the places I believe you cannot miss. It is very quick to see, and the reason why I think you cannot miss it is because to Japanese people who practice Zen Buddhism, this place is important. The place is nearly 1,000 years old with ample space and a beautiful courtyard. Around the 1600s, it was used as the location for a popular archery competition, and most impressive of all, they house 1,001 statues of cannon that you can walk around and see. These statues altogether are very impressive. However, there is no pictures or videos allowed, so you have to come and see them for yourself. Now this is Kyoto, one of, if not the most traditional city in Japan, so of course there are plenty of shrines to see. Part of the elements that make traditional Japan what it has always been is the importance that they give to their religious belief. So if shrines are something that you enjoy, you know that in Kyoto there are more than 400 of them. An example is the Naino Shrine, built in 1885 after two members of the Sanjo family who greatly contributed to the Meiji restoration. Looking at it, you get a feeling that it was built not to impress tourists, but to show reverence as the resting place of Sanju Sanetsumu and his son. It is right next to the Imperial Palace, so very easy to get there. And since I am a coffee lover, when you visit, you can also stop by Nashinoki Coffee. Sit on a tatami cushion while enjoying the breeze, the sound of the cicadas, and the nature around the place. And as an extra, if you made it this far in the video, there is another place I found very interesting to a lot of Japanese people that you might like as well. Throughout Japan, over the past few decades, there has been a modernization movement to create newer, sturdier houses with modern materials. A lot of the traditional buildings that many Japanese people remember from their grandparents and youthful days are harder to see nowadays. That is why the next place might be worth visiting. Genko-an is a temple that has been around since the 1300s, displaying some of the elements that traditional houses in Japan have. From the tatami floor mats to the sliding doors and the wooden deck, this is a very beautiful and quick to see temple where history took place and that also display many of those traditional items. Many influencers love to come here and take pictures of the window of spiritual enlightenment, where the circle symbolizes an innocent future without prejudice in Zen Buddhism. And very important also is the time of the year that you decide to come to Japan. If you come in April, chances are you're going to see a very beautiful, picturesque scene with the cherry blossoms everywhere. However, if you come in August, you get to see Obon, of which there are many places throughout Kyoto where you can see this, one of them being the Imperial Palace. It usually will be somewhere around the 15th of August, where they will celebrate it for a few days, honoring the spirits of one's ancestors, culminating in this: immense bonfires lit at night throughout mountains in Kyoto in the form of Japanese kanji, an experience worth seeing at least once in your life. And hopefully with these places I have mentioned, you can not only formulate a better plan of what to see in the city of Kyoto, but also feel a little bit more motivated about coming to Kyoto and enjoying this wonderful city. This is really a beautiful city, unlike any other in the world, where you can get a real taste of what it is to experience traditional Japan, while at the same time maintaining your modern day comfort.